This is the Die No G Fullness channel. Yes, thank you very much. I tried it again this time. To align the mind with the body. This is a channel to share with everyone in the working society. This time it's the Standing Posture series for everyone. I'm introducing how to create the correct posture. Actually, recently, I was thinking of talking a bit about this content. There is weight on the soles of your feet. When you put your weight on the part of the soles of your feet, you will gradually accumulate fatigue in your body. The tension is building up, becoming nervousness. I would like to introduce this kind of content. Mastering how to stand is actually quite simple. I don't really understand what it means. Standing, I would like to explain how one can say that a certain way of standing is refined from the perspective of my own approach to the art of ball handling. I hope everyone can acquire this skill. When you're standing, actually, everyone is nervous. Even just standing, my body is already shrinking. Even so, I get scared about my shoulders. I would like to introduce this in a little more detail. So let's get started right away. So, with that I would like to quickly share the conclusion with everyone. Let's drink lying down. Please give that a try. I'm not saying that I'm avoiding a big X from the center of the world here, but I would like to introduce something. To put it simply, I want you to be able to lift your pelvis without using the front muscles. Please make sure you can lift it this way. Yes, and the reason for this is something I would like to thoroughly introduce from now on. First, I would like to explain how the muscles in the soles of the feet should bear weight. The ideal state is neither on the front nor the back. So the conclusion here is that the weight of the body is across the entire sole of the foot. It's good to have a state where the weight is firmly placed. Here we still have the sensors on the soles of the feet. Actually, when measuring, there are aspects that cannot be quantified, but there are ways of standing that are not good. Even if your weight is firmly on the soles of your feet, I would like to introduce this to everyone. Alright, let's get started right away. I want to talk a little about what makes the soles of the feet problematic. I would like to introduce this by changing the angle a bit. First of all, yes, in this way. First, put your weight on your toes. And this is the worst pattern. It's not good. If your weight is on your toes, it puts strain on the thighs. When the thighs are strained, it tends to lead to a sway back. The back shrinks, and this is exactly it. Always keep your chest muscles and your back arched. Basically, I don't want to shorten the muscles in my back while in a tense state. But instead of doing it like this, I do it like that, and I focus a bit on the soles of my feet. I think your toes will be engaged. If that's the case, then riding in the front won't work. When I said that the back might be better, it means that the back is better compared to the front. However, there is a downside to this. If you ride in the back and leave as is, new issues will arise. What that means is that the front will shrink. The front of the thigh will shrink. So there is also a possibility of being pulled like this. The quadriceps in this thigh is where the strength comes from. It tends to tighten up like this when you exert force. Your weight shifts to your heels, making you unstable. If something is likely to wobble, what happens is that it tries to come from this side, and then it shrinks down. As for how it shrinks, it's this thigh of the leg. Step forward. If your buttocks tighten and your stomach shrinks, it ends up shrinking quite a bit. So if too much weight is on the soles of your feet, that's not good. If too much weight is on your toes, in other words, that's also not good. To have your weight distributed around the middle. This is the logic that it's better to have your weight centered in the middle. However, even if I say that, there are times when it doesn't work out evenly. The reason for that is, what do you call this muscle on the sole of the foot? This is really firm. It's actually easy to put your weight on the whole body. The reason is simply that you just stretch your calves. Well then, let me explain it simply. You can do it yourself with your legs. Please bring it forward and stretch it. This is how to stretch it when you do it like this. Please place your hand like this. What I want to say is, anyway, it's here on the foot. Place your hand on the ball of the thumb or the base of the toes. It's okay if this bends. From here, if you stretch it out like this, once you stretch it will fit perfectly. However, this has its drawbacks. The calf muscles in the soles of the feet stretched, causing the soles to stick tightly. But just because the muscles in the soles are firmly attached, it doesn't necessarily mean that the alignment of the feet or the overall alignment is a separate issue. I need to think a bit about how to stand. I have to design the whole thing. In the world of Kyudo that we are practicing, there is a proverb like this. A proverb? I'm a bit more detailed when I say proverb, but there is one. So please remember this. There is a saying that if you try to stabilize something, it becomes unstable in the next step. Please remember this, everyone. It will be on the Daimaru tries to stabilize the next generation of the business system, it will become unstable next time. Remember this well. I don't really understand this. I would like to explain this means a little. First, raise the bow. Pull it slightly to the side. Move it slightly to the side. And there is an order to pull and release. Isn't there? First, you lift it up. Then open it slightly to the side. Cut it further to the side. And finally open it wide. These are the 4 stages. In all 4 stages, it is important for us to open the bow in a way that ensures the triceps are evenly stretched. I think each of these is a separate action. It's this, but in all of it, the triceps are being stretched and stretched and stretched. And this degree of stretching becomes constant, which stabilizes the whole body. But here, when raising the arm, for example, let's align it straight like this. I say, let's align it straight. Then you try to align it straight. After that, you slightly raise your arms straight up. Just a little bit with your fists. You use strength to adjust your position. The way you use this strength is actually the way you'll end up using it incorrectly next. That momentary action can be a good movement. But if it becomes a bad movement in the next process, when I try to achieve stability for a moment while being unstable, I become unstable again in the next step. That's what this means. In other words, what this tells us is that when I try to put my weight on my toes later, the toe-loaded posture creates an unstable state, and when I try to shift my weight to my heels, I have actually put my weight on my heels. As a result of trying to stabilize my entire body, it becomes unstable. And if I try to put my entire sole of my foot, thinking that it's fine, since I'm on the whole sole, it actually means that there is tension in the front of my thighs. Upon closer inspection, in the muscles on my back hadn't completely released. As time goes by, in other words, it becomes unstable when standing. That's why I really want everyone to remember how to stand properly. So, what I mentioned earlier about stretching out, I would like to recommend it to you. Why does stretching out like a star lead to a better standing posture? And finally, I would like to introduce standing posture is. I would like to briefly introduce the correct standing posture is. First, please use your shoulder blades to lift your head. Next, use your pelvis to lift your legs. When these two movements are properly linked, the soles of your feet will be evenly balanced and in a light state. At this stage, of course, this is when I draw a 9-degree bow, and my body is in the most stable state, where the axis of my body does not collapse. The power is applied to this bar of the bow. So, what does it mean to be in a state when I am my body does not waver? It means using my shoulder blades to lift and my pelvis to raise my legs, resulting in this kind of posture. So, I want to try doing big child pose that I always do. A little bit. First, open your legs to the side. This makes it easier to tuck in. This will create a slightly elevated position. Next, let's keep the muscles in the arm positioned back at first. We will open from the shoulders and stretch like this. At this time, please remember to keep your shoulders down and be careful not to engage the muscles in your shoulder blades. This is how you stretch it out. Pull it firmly and feel this area lift up. And please maintain the feeling of stretching like this. And keep your head high. Please keep your head as high as possible. With this, Keep stretching sideways and extend your legs shoulders open and continue to lift your pelvis. And also engage your back. By engaging your back, you can understand when you return, your shoulder blades will fold, causing your head to rise slightly. I think if you lightly lift your upper body up like this, it will make it easier to move the pelvis when you move it like this here. Next, the pelvis will become like this. This gives a sensation as if your legs are constantly being lifted up. Once you feel the lifting sensation, please apply force to bring your entire leg. At the same time, if you focus on bringing your femur, the thigh bone, towards the center, an even stronger lifting sensation. I think you will feel that the weight on the soles of your feet is evenly distributed. When you place it like this, you will be able to achieve a state where your center of gravity is firmly positioned like this. Please remember how to position your pelvis and shoulders at the same time. This makes it easier to create this pose. So, if you establish a firm standing posture, you can create a physical posture that allows your shoulder muscles to relax, relieving pressure on the brain and easing the tension in the kidneys, which helps eliminate a state of being overly reactive. Please keep this in mind. And that concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and give it a like this content and want to create a more mentally balanced state physically. I have introduced a method for cultivating a balanced mindset based on martial arts perspectives. So please check out the text. Once you register for the newsletter and line, you can get this. So please try to get that as well. That's all. Thank you very much.